In accordance with General Assembly Resolution 58/83 of December 9, 2003, I now call on the Observer for the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance.
Mr. President, distinguished delegates, in 2000, the Millennium Summit and the Consensus on the MDGs created for the first time the conditions for a concerted long-term action to bring about lasting impact on the lives of the poorest. The 8 MDGs are interdependent and interact with other areas for action laid down in the Millennium Declaration. Peace and security, equal and guaranteed rights of all citizens to political participation, and equal access to resources, infrastructure and public services are key factors for the achievement of the MDGs. There are many examples of the linkages between the achievement of some MDGs, broad political dynamics and democratic processes. On MDG 1, data show that poverty reduction has been accompanied by rising inequality. The UN MDGs report 2007 states that the benefits of economic growth in the developing world have been unequally shared, both within and among countries. MDGs 3 on gender equality and empowerment of women includes a specific indicator on the number of women elected to national parliaments. This indicator shows that women gained ground politically, though men still wield control, and women are underrepresented at most levels of government, especially ministerial and other executive bodies. The links between MDGs and the political environment can be made even more explicit. The choice of Mongolia to adopt a national MDG 9 on promoting human rights, fostering democratic governance and fighting corruption shows that democratic institutions and practices, in addition to contributing an enabling environment for the achievement of the MDGs, can constitute an objective tailored to addressing country-specific needs. Mr. President, the rich discussion of these days highlighted the importance of 2 principles: ownership of the strategies aimed at the achievement of the MDGs and mutual accountability within the global partnership envisioned by the MDGs, which emphasizes the responsibilities of the international community in honoring its commitments, including in terms of ODA volume and predictability. I wish to underscore 2 additional elements emerging in many countries and regions that play a role in the achievement of the MDGs. The first one is the very concept of ownership, as related to the importance of the strengthening and consolidation of democratic institutions. While the responsibility of defining and implementing national strategies remains with governments, the concept of ownership has gradually widened so as to encompass other actors, like civil society organizations and legislatures, which constitute an arena for dialogue on national priorities and exercise an indispensable oversight of the implementation of national strategies. This implies that an exclusive emphasis on the executive branch may undermine the functions of other actors in political systems, parliaments and political parties in the first place. The second element is represented by the interlinkages between the promotion of broad-based equitable growth on one hand and democratic practices on the other. In fact, the time horizon utilized for the definition of the MDGs, 15 years, presupposes the creation of long-term visions of national development that can only be effectively pursued if they are shared beyond the lifespan of an executive, so as to be supported over time, even in case of a change of government. Experience shows that countries that have succeeded over time have invested in developing such long-term visions, in building capacities for an effective functioning of democratic institutions, and in creating and consolidating mechanisms to translate long-term visions into reality. This is particularly challenging in highly polarized political environments, not least in post-conflict situations, since the space for dialogue is reduced and the scope for the definition of nationally owned, broad-based visions for development is limited. And yet, as many interventions recalled in the debate, there is a need for long-term engagement and support by the international community in such contexts. Mr. President, in International Ideas Strategy 2006-2011, the links between democracy and development are a prominent cross-cutting dimension. In June, IDEA will organize a roundtable on democracy and development in Delhi, back-to-back to the 2008 meeting of the Council of its 25 member states. The Delhi Roundtable will be an opportunity to address the relations between democracy and development, including from the angle of the MDGs agenda. Let me conclude by stressing International Idea's support to the MDGs and commitment to continue collaborating with Member States, the UN system and other regional organizations in the pursuance of effective approaches to their achievement. I thank you for your attention.
I thank you for the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral